The prospect, perhaps, of a trophy for Bath. They are not entirely out of contention in the Gallagher Premiership, but this is certainly their best opportunity, and they've got a very decent history in this competition. In fact, they've made 4 finals before, did only win 1 of them. And I do have to note, actually, David, that winning final is the only one you were actually involved in of those 4.
Wasn't going to say anything. Craig Dawes called it a throwaway competition before the match. I'll have a word with him about that. Best day of my life.
Use it.
So I guess you call those shirts, what, fuchsia, that are being worn by the Zebre side. Sam Underhill, good to see him fit and back in form now after recovering from the hip injury which sidelined him throughout the Six Nations. That was on to Bailey. And Zebre win the first penalty.
Just a bit telegraphed, wasn't it, in midfield? The hit up from Beno Urbano was fine. It produced. It turned medium pace ball into reasonably quick ball. The flat ball to McNally, you could put on a postcard, really. You do want those front runners to be an option. You want them to hold defenders. But if they're going to be an option, they're going to receive the ball. They've got to hit. They've got to do more than, I think, than steam straight into defenders. That was too easily read.
There's Carlo Canna playing at fly half here, which is where he earned the most of his early caps for Italy.
Let's go, sir.
And on a day like today, 25 degrees, plenty of sunshine, not a lot of breeze around. Probably fair to say that 48 metres or so. It's one of those days when the ball will fly a little bit further, so he certainly would have had the range had he wished to go there for post, but showing some ambition. Here's Luca Bigi, not captain of Zebre today, but the Italy national captain. Taken up in the midfield by Enrico Lucchini. That's into the hands of Ian Nagle, the Irishman, in the second row today for the Zebre side. That's Violi, you can see, wearing 9. Decent start here from the Italians, who have been the most successful of the 2 Italian franchises in Pro 14 rugby this season, and they get themselves another penalty.
I think Sam Underhill was fine on the turnover then. They're off.
So Zebre within a couple of metres, and the referee, Pierre Brousset, let's see how he reacts to this.
And pick, win the ball, and move forward, and score the strike. Right?
Well, the referee has awarded the try. And there you can see Luca Bigi back in club colours. Absolutely delighted.
Really interesting from Zebre, the tempo with which they attacked that penalty. Sam Underhill was fine. It was Will Stewart that didn't get out the way quick enough, and he's the size of a terraced house, so you can't miss him when he's in the way, but they weren't going to kick for the corner and go for your catch and drive. They weren't going to take the 3. Up the tempo, went for it. Not Singer looked like he'd done a really good strip job on that, and Underhill you thought had nicked it. But actually, good awareness, fair try, a hell of a start from Zebre.
Well, I think they not only caught Bath a little unawares, the same applies for our Italian TV director. Canna. Well, it's a perfect start for the Italians.
Yeah, Falconer Singer does a good job stripping that ball, but actually he kind of strips it, releases it from the ball carrier's grip, but no one then regathers it.
Pierre Bruno, the scorer for Zebre. He is Zebre's leading try scorer this season. That just his 4th, but he's 2nd in this competition. They did pretty well in the early stages of the Challenge Cup. They drew their opening game here against Bayonne, who are in the lower reaches of the top 14 at the moment. And then won their second match. Here goes Anthony Watson. What a tremendous Six Nations he had. Earned his 50th cap, scored 4 tries. On there from Ben Spencer, making his debut at this level. Former Premiership champion and European champion with Saracens.
It's a shame that for Bath. Max Ajomo, I think his first touch, perhaps his second, did really well to force his way between a set of shoulders then and get that ball away to Underhill. It's always frustrating, I'm sure, for a coach when a player is beaten by the touchline and effectively runs into touch. But if you're going to, at some point, you've got to plug that blind side, you've got to have a go, and the margins are fine. It'll count as a turnover, too easy a turnover, but a nice first involvement for Max Ajomo.
Stay into it. No, please, you have to close the gap. Close the gap. Again, come. Time back on.
Recently relayed surface here at the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi. Back there from Spencer to Bailey. Well, the tester under the high ball, and that was spilt. Out there from Underhill onto Rokodunguni. D'Onofrio was swift to react. Out there from Bailey. Watson finding himself in the midfield.
There's just enough pressure, wasn't there on that chase. Forced to Julio to take his eyes off the ball, look at the big units about to steam into him. And this pass here, just a bit unsympathetic, although maybe it wasn't meant for Miles Reid. It's kind of in between both, really. Joe Thokinasinger sees the funny side, but he's kind of whipped that ball, Watson, into Miles Reid's inside shoulder. Tough to catch. Maybe he wanted to put it across him. They're playing the advantage, so you may as well have a crack.
So Ben Spencer sets up the line-out opportunity inside the Zebre 22. There he is, Ben Spencer. Jack Walker, who scored that late try, which effectively earned 2 league points in the Gallagher Premiership last week in that near miss against London Irish.
Don't change, Zebre! Don't change, Zebre! 6 swimming on the side.
The ball being presented there to Spencer.
6 pink, 6 swimming on the side. Changing back.
You just, when that gets formed up, if you're Bath, you just need to get that nudging forward. So one, you don't get the warnings from the referee to use it or lose it, but also you start to force defenders to do things they shouldn't really be doing. And Potu Liavasa there is rightly penalised for swimming over the top, changing his bind. You're allowed to end up wherever you end up, as long as when you bound you were legal and you don't change your bind to get there.
So Walker, well, just overthrew that one a little bit. So that goes Rokodunguni off to Watson, who has a few options. The tackle there coming in from David Cece, and the ball being held in the contact. Well, perhaps as you might reasonably expect, Zebra's certainly up for this.
They are up for it, and Fischetti with a really powerful, good turnover, good effective turnover. But you just wonder, quite a few of these early kicks from Zebre have been a bit long, and they've given that Bath back 3 time to run. And yes, Zebre are full of energy. Their defence is organised. Their legs are fresh. They haven't got half an hour of scrums down their neck yet. They're covering them quite nicely. But you think if these kicks keep going a little bit long, they might end up regretting giving such easy counter-attack ball to the likes of Anthony Watson. This time covered well. Do you want to be doing that an hour from now? I'd argue not.
Decent old nudge also off the right foot coming from Carlo Canna. Here's Luca Bishi. Goes to Nagel, the Irishman who reaches high. On there to Canna. And straight again from Enrico Lucchini. Violi. On there to Canna. Just trying a little grubber through, and it's been picked up brilliantly by Bruno. 2 tries in the opening 10 minutes for the right wing.
Hey, nothing fancy. Win a penalty from really good breakdown work. Kick yourself into a nice position. Smash your 12. Enrico Lucchini up the middle. You just saw Carlo Canna take that in the second phase, took that pass a bit wider. Just nice and wide there, chop out a few defenders. Max Clark nearly gets, well, he does get his foot in there, and it ends up kind of one of those unlucky deflections, isn't it, that bounces effectively straight into the hands of Pierre Bruno. It's a brilliant up-tempo start from Zebre. Bath caught cold a little bit, it has to be said. Zebre playing with real intensity, real ambition. Great start for the neutral, this.
Did you notice the hand signals from the scrum half, Marcelo Violi, pointing to Bruno to go under the post? I mean, bearing in mind that Bruno scored twice as many tries as any other Zebre player this season, he doesn't really need telling, does he?
Just put it down, Chief. Just put it down, Pete. Just don't get Will Carlington caught and held up.
14 points to 0. Not quite the start either we or the followers of Bath were expecting.
I don't think the followers of Zebre would expect this either. But it's a cracking start, it makes it very interesting. Again, it's a nice idea from Carlo Canna. The idea was right, but he probably couldn't have executed that kick any better than Max Clark did. It's a bit of luck. Nicely finished nevertheless.
Third try of the Challenge Cup campaign for Pierre Bruno, number 5 for the season.
Good timing, good timing.
A lot of the players, particularly those on the fringes of this Zebre squad, have come from the Calvisano club. I don't know if you had the opportunity to play in during your career at Calvisano, which is not terribly far away from here. They used to participate themselves in this competition. Lovely little village. Calvisano, good old-fashioned rugby club. Oh, and it's half charged down there, the kick from the scrum half Violi. They get a second bite. Canna from outside his 22, so he just fires it straight downfield. Watson almost nonchalantly, both with the catch and with the kick, but good positioning, well anticipated by Canna. That goes Rokodunguni, but it's got too much on it, and he'll see it run dead and will come all the way back for a scrum.
Well, lots of excitement, understandably, about this Bath back three before the game. We're only 12 minutes in. They couldn't have wished for more opportunities to get the ball in their hands and run back. Of course, run back at Zebre. Of course, that defensive line is fresh. It is well organised. They've had a brilliant start. A little bit of good luck in there, but primarily good accuracy, good execution, good intensity and tempo. Season with a nice early lead. But I just think, again, you just think these long kicks to this Bath back three feel risky. They feel risky with the quality of ball runner they've got back there. This is what Bath will have wanted. Of course, you're dealing with a high-end, especially in the front five, a high-end set of units. There's a good bits of furniture in there for Zebre, but actually Bath will look, especially through Beno Urbano and Will Stewart, two big heavy units, Stewart especially, just to put a bit of work into the legs of these Zebre players, these Italian boys, just take the sting out of that kick chase a little bit.
Just see there the reddish hair of Miles Reed, one of the youngsters in this Bath side, having come through the Bath Academy. So, a point a minute at the moment for Zebre. And to give the status of Zebre some sort of perspective, they only won 4 matches in the Pro 14 League this past season, which came to a conclusion last weekend with Leinster beating Munster in the final, and 2 of those 4 wins were against their Italian rivals Benetton, coming in January in back-to-back fixtures, home and away.
Just saw the Zebre front row jumping the gun, pushing a bit too early. It could be perceived as a sign of real aggression and they're really up for it, or it can be seen as a sign that they're a bit nervous. They're a bit nervous. They know how much power's in this Bath front five and they want to get into them.
Will Stewart on the tight head side, up against Danilo Fischetti. Real supremacy there for Bath. They've got the penalty advantage. There's Bailey. Good hands. They've created the chance of an extra man out wide. And here goes Thokanasinger. Thokanasinger powering his way to the line. Well, Giovanni D'Onofrio barely got to touch his jersey. That was all too easy.
Fabulous three-quarter play from Bath. The ball zipped wide quick, put into the hands of the most dangerous players on the field as quickly as possible. Nicely out the back. Good decoy running from Max Clark and Robin Naguni. Nicely out the back from Orlando Bailey. If you've got a weapon like that on the wing, get him the ball. Something Bath have been doing really, really well the last few rounds. Interesting to watch Orlando Bailey go today. Of course, replacing the injured Reece Prieston, who's been in brilliant form. Yes, with the boot, but also getting hold of that ball and getting it into the hands of these back three players that can do so much damage. Excellent forward play, good shove on at the scrum. Get the defence on the back foot, get it wide with some good decoy runners. That's excellent first phase rugby from Bath.
Yes, I guess we'd also have to note that the defence of Giovanni D'Onofrio are about as strong as the skin of a rice pudding, I'm afraid.
Absolutely no interest in tackling him then, did he? Let's be frank. We've got a furniture sale, 1 year, no interest, none. I mean, he's quick, but if you really want to hit him there, you can hit him. You might have dragged him over, I think he probably would. About twice the weight. But he did not want any of that.
Joe Thokanasinger anxious to remind not just us, but Eddie Jones and the England setup that he's not the forgotten man of the white jersey. Whenever he played for England, there was a real buzz about his presence.
Well, because he's massive, quick, brilliant finisher. Great to watch, isn't it? You want, you know, and I say this as a big a compliment as I can, you want big genetic freaks running around the place. They're great to watch. And not many guys that big move like he moves.
Using 9. Stay back.
So Ben Spencer hoisting it with his preferred left boot. Well taken by the fullback, De Julio. Out there from Violi. Canna. Carried up again by Lukien. Ball being lost forward though by Zebre.
Time off.
You just feel if you can hold them to a couple of phases, keep your structure and defend them reasonably well. You wonder if those ideas are going to run out. Bath stayed organised. Sam Underhill looks like he's hurt himself. Well, he's definitely hurt himself. Just hope it isn't too bad. You see a physio pointing at someone's shoulder and testing like that and running his finger down his arm. You wonder if he's just made a tackle with his neck or his shoulder and he's got a stinger, kind of a jolt of nerve pain down the arm. They can come and go. They can come and not go as well, when you see players leaving the field.
Just to give you some sort of idea of what's coming up later today, we've got London Irish, Cardiff Blues. Remember, the winner of this takes on the winner of that fixture in the last 8. That's at 5:15. We've got Gloucester La Rochelle at 7:45 on 3HD and Ultimate. And also over on ESPN HD, we have Montpellier against Glasgow, 7:45. Reminder that we have lost the fixture that was scheduled to take place in Dublin between Leinster and Toulon. That match has been called off.
Saw what happened to Underhill, then he kind of whipped round in an attempt to tackle and completely inadvertently the top of his head, I think, whacked into the abdominal region of Pierre Bruno. It's just that whack on top of the head that can feel like it's compressed you and squashed you up like an accordion, make you feel all funny. Just whips around here, bang, or it might even be a knee, whatever it was, complete accident.
Yeah, you can see the immediate reaction of Pierre Bruno is to apologise. It's a classic rugby accident, which doesn't make it any less or more painful, of course.
It does, but I must say it's quite refreshing, as keen as we are for the game to be safe, and we understand all of that. It's quite nice not to go back with the TMO for that when it's so clearly an accident. No one's told the referee he needs to go and have a look at it. Just completely inadvertent. HIA, hopefully he passes. Continue.
Shoulder, please. Again, shoulder. One pink, please. Same line and shoulder. Crouch. Bang.
Josh Bayliss wearing 20. He's on at least for now.
Drop to the ground.
Stuart Hooper hinted this week that perhaps Europe owes him something this season. They were eliminated from the Champions Cup following defeat in their only match. This, therefore, just their second European fixture of the season. It was a narrow defeat by the Scarlets at home, and then because of human contacts made in that match, there were a series of COVID positives afterwards, and it meant that Bath couldn't make the trip for their second Champions Cup match. But that's becoming a theme now, with Bath overwhelming supremacy in the tie. The pass there from Watson, but he was fully aware that the referee was playing an advantage.
Tell you what, hopefully Giovanni D'Onofrio was aware there was an advantage being played from a scrum penalty, because that was as deliberate a knock-on as I've seen. He's got away with one there. Very, very powerful scrummaging from the Bath front 8. Exactly what you need to get back into the game. Steve Diamond was right. It's the fundamentals you need to see. Yes, Zebre raced off to an excellent start. Put a load of work into their legs in the first 30-40 minutes. Those kick chases, those quick taps, they'll soon slow down. Yeah, he's not trying to catch that, is he? I've seen him given.
So Jack Walker finds Bayliss at the front of the line out. It's now with the Yorkshireman there, Jack Walker, trundling their way forward. Now, can they get the choreography right? It's all well and good at the moment. There is Spencer on to Miles Reid. Another advantage being played to Bath.
Rocky's farm, you pin them right now.
Do you know, I wouldn't want another look at that. Not that we're in control of what our friend, Italian director, puts on our screen, but in front of us. But I'd quite like to see it. Look like a really good counter-up for me, that from Luca Bijia. Didn't feel illegal. Bath find themselves in a great position.
Elliot Stuke that time. This looking promising for Bath. It's gone to ground. Stuke just looking up. Better help from his mate, the captain, Josh McNally. Bayliss that time just trying to power his way towards the try line. It's certainly an opportunity for the big fellas. That was Stuke again, or then the ball has been lost, but the referee playing another advantage. Well, the referee was holding his arm out, actually, but he's clearly quite happy with things. Anthony Watson having to do the mopping up work. Here's Rokodunguni.
Did well to beat the first defender, then Rokodunguni. Just beat Danilo Fischetti. He makes all the difference. Takes all the momentum out of that defensive line.
Bailey. On to Max Clark.
Now you have to leave the ball first, after Rocky's farm. It's a knock on my black.
So the referee now playing an advantage to the Italians at Giammiroli. The chip ahead from Bruno, 2 tries already. Look at this, a chance again for Zebre. Well, what a day it's proving to be for Pierre Bruno. A hat-trick against the former champions in the space of 22 minutes.
Fabulous start for him and for Zebre. But it's ferocious work at the breakdown that leads to the ball spilling out the side, deemed a knock-on by Bath. And Renato Giamarioli steams away. But of course there's no one in the backfield because Bath are attacking. They're absolutely expecting that ball to come back and to launch some phase attack. Bayliss does all he can, but I don't know about you, Martin, but when Thokonasinga went in, I thought, well, that's probably it now. Bath will probably slowly but surely get themselves level and pull away. Zebre have got other ideas. Playing with extreme pace, absolutely ripping into it, ball in hand. Outstanding stuff. What a start for him.
And take note there of the contribution of Renato Giamarioli, who has earned 4 caps for Italy. He was singled out for his debut by Conor O'Shea, who saw something in him that he liked. He's particularly quick. He's got a bit of the Sam Simmons about him.
You're not a giant guy, of course. A lot of these guys are a lot bigger than they look on telly, so he's a big man, but he's not a giant by modern number 8 standards. Mind you, neither is Talupe Faletau, and there aren't many guys in the world you pick ahead of him, but he's very, very quick on his feet. He's a good attacking player, very confident ball in hand. Lovely stuff. Nobody home. Becomes a foot race. He's limping a bit now. He's on for a double hat-trick, so you hope he doesn't go. He doesn't have to leave the field.
Well, he's doubled his try tally for the season this afternoon in the space of 22 minutes.
It's a maul. It's a maul. No, stay back. Move back.
The next domestic engagement, and I place domestic in inverted commas, the start of the Rainbow Cup, when we see the South African Super Rugby franchises getting involved in that tournament together with the existing Pro 14 clubs, which kicks off in 3 weeks. Here goes De Julio. 21 points to 7. That was Liavasa. Canna.
Stop! Stop!
Well, Anthony Watson rose highest, but he didn't come away with the ball. Bayliss trying to recover. That's Violi. Long pass out onto Carlo Canna. The Italians hinting there may just be something out here, but the pass is a little imprecise. That's Boni, the captain. The leadership role for this Italian team is something of a movable feast. David Sisi was captaining the side when they won home and away against Benetton in January. 4 or 5 of the players involved today have led the side, including the Italy captain, Luca Bigi, Esvioli.
Big stay!
Canna tries to find a bit of space over the shoulder of Ben Spencer. The ball sits up nicely on this pristine surface.
I get the impression that while Zebre are absolutely happy to have a crack and throw it wide, that pass over the top from Carlo Canna was a bit ambitious. It gave the defence too much time to get themselves organised, frankly. And Anthony Watson had that all day. He'd be very disappointed with that. Wasn't a huge amount of competition for him there, just a skill error. It happens. But it also looks like Zebre, while the ambition is there to play a bit of rugby, they're not flogging dead horses in the midfield. If they don't get anywhere after a couple of phases, they're very happy to boot the thing and chase it. Which is might be a bit less scintillating to watch, but actually far more pragmatic. Just slinging it wide every chance you get, because eventually that will become predictable.
There is Carlo Canna. The last time Italy beat a so-called Tier 1 country, you remember that match when Italy beat the South Africans in Florence, and it was Canna who kicked Italy to victory on that day. So he's got plenty of credit. Look at that, it's a little bit high, isn't it, on Maxime Mbanda from Miles Reed?
Yeah, you can hear the ref mumbling to himself or one of his mates. That might be having a look at that.
We need to review, Eric.
A review incoming.
Okay. GMO. Okay, Eric, we want to review the tackle against Steven Pink at the middle of the field.
Okay, I watch all the angles as I come back to you.
So let's listen to the conversation between Pierre Brousset and his television match official.
High tackle by 6 blue, by 6 black, sorry.
Okay. Can we show?
There is another angle here.
Okay. We have a head contact, Eric. Could you freeze the frame at the first contact?
Yes,
please?
the same one with the frame at the contact, please. This is the last one with the freeze.
Feels inevitable that a card is going to come out of the pocket here, doesn't it? It's like arm contact with the head. It doesn't look like
It's
shoulder
the
to me.
best angle we have.
He's dipping, but not significantly.
Okay.
Miles Reed, I think, will.
Can I have the live footage, please, in real
Yes,
speed?
we have now on real speed after this one.
Oh, okay. What I saw, Eric, it's number 6 still upright to make a tackle. There is a head contact with the arm. But for me, it's a low level of danger. And I saw also the pink player who is going through between the both players. So it will be a yellow card for me.
Yes, totally agree for me.
Andrea? Yes, yellow card. Low danger, head contact, and we have the ball carrier between the both black players. Just yellow card against 6 black.
Perfect.
A little bit. He knew, didn't he, Miles Reed?
Captain, please.
Must be a big screen there that he's seen himself on. Or he just knew he'd done it.
Captain.
Current climate, always going to be a card.
Number 6.
He's going to have a breather, I think.
We have a high tackle, as you see. Okay, with head contact, but for us, it's a low level of danger. And ball carrier go between the both players, it will be a yellow card.
Penalty,
Yeah. Yeah. Time back on.
Reasonable call, David.
I think, these days, this season in particular, yes, I think it is. I don't necessarily agree with the TMO that he was upright. If you watch it actually from the starting, you see he does hinge at the hips, he does bend down, but ultimately he has to be lower because when he makes contact with admittedly a dipping player, not a significantly dipping player, but a dipping player, a player running into contact, his arm whacks him in the jaw. So what are you going to do? Where's the defence on that? There is, he's a big man. There's other places to hit. It was side on, so in a sense, it's easier to hit somewhere else because you've got the whole rib cage, hips, legs to hit. So yeah, reasonable call.
And we don't want to get too excited too soon, but this would be a major shock in European rugby, certainly to start off this weekend. Were Zebre to eliminate Bath, Zebre in their first ever knockout match in Europe, but Carlo Canna has, well, they had quite a hook on it, and who knows, by the end of the day I wonder if those 3 points will be significant, but it offers a 10-minute chance here with a 14-point advantage for Zebre to give themselves a very handy lead.
Just felt then Bath turned the best quick ball ever, attacking under your own post into slow ball that becomes slow ball again. And yes, the box kick and the chase might work for them, but you just felt watching on that you wanted that quick ball to stay quick. You wanted someone to step up, get their hands on that ball and move it, while Zebre under pressure.
High tackle, penalty.
Just looked like they didn't quite know what to do in attack there.
Well, it's another high tackle.
It ended up in a Zebre penalty, a turnover via the box kick, another high tackle,
Captain,
a turnover. You just think that
must improve now.
Orlando Bailey's a young fella and it's not all down to him, and he will come good. He will come good, but if you've got a guy like Joseph or a guy like Priestland on there, or even a Cam Redpath, even though he's young, they're screaming for that ball and making something happen with it after the Thockenasinger counter-attack. You're not leaving that to become slow ball.
It's an interesting dynamic at the moment, fly half at Bath. We've got Rhys Priestland not playing today, on his way out of the club. We've read this week Danny Cipriani on his way. Orlando Bailey had his first Premiership start last week. The backup fly half at the moment, Tion Schoeman, injured a knee, he's out for the season. It's a few moving parts there at the moment.
Lots of moving parts in arguably the most important position. But a game like this, I mean, it was supposed to be not a nice introduction. It's never going to be easy in a place like Zebre, but actually a nice introduction and as close as you can get to a guaranteed win for Orlando Belly. But it hasn't worked out like that. He's got to play his part in digging his team out of this now. No 50-cap international on field, on hand to call the shots and steer the side. He's got to do it.
That was another very useful carry from Giamarioli, who helped create that third try. Here he is again over the ball. Violi back there to Canna, attempting to atone for that penalty miss, and he's not done it. Really, that's a wasted chance.
It wasn't a very nice pass, was it, to Canna from Violi? But he still had loads of time because there wasn't much pressure from the Bath defensive line. But that wasn't a nice strike. He got right. I'm not a golfist, but I think he put the old pitching wedge under that. Is that about right? Did I get that right?
It was almost a 58 degree or a 62, I think.
For me it was not
Lost me.
I think we need
I can understand.
Ewan Murray or Nick Faldo to give proper golfing appraisals rather than me, but
Time off,
you're
time
certainly
off.
on the right
Blood
lines.
injury.
That'll do.
Yeah, blood injury. Yeah, you're just to wait for the kick.
That looks rather like Giasui Zulocki.
All good?
So there hasn't been a huge amount of Italian success in
Time
European
back.
competition in recent seasons. But as a half hour goes, this one of the best we've seen for a long time by one of the Italian franchises. That was just clip the fingers in flight. Giamarioli there onto Violi. Violi just weighing up the options on the halfway line.
Use it!
Zebre here with a one-man advantage. If you sense added urgency about the way they're playing, that will be why. David Sisi taking it in. 4 years at Bath in his career. Did spend a fair period of that either injured or out on loan.
No!
Boni there with the chase, along with Donofrio.
Once! No! Back now!
Spencer into position. He's looking for one of his mates to take rather closer order. It was Jack Walker.
Use it now!
Guess perhaps as a left foot, he wants to get himself slightly closer to that touch line.
No, move back.
Josh Bayliss steaming after this. Chases so hard.
Giamarioli again making meters for Zebre. Violi onto Canna.
Step in front, step!
Cracking carry that. Sorry, Mike. Cracking carry from Giamarioli there. Really, really powerful. Straight into Bayliss, who's a big, powerful guy himself. As I said, chasing hard, still makes 3 or 4 yards.
15.
Good front foot stuff.
I had the best last 10 minutes of the match. Carlo Canna, some of his kicking, both off the tee and out of hand, has been a little off-key. Anthony Watson it is now getting treatment.
So interesting to watch a situation like this. Bath find themselves in a 14-point hole in a game they were expected by everyone, seemingly except the Zebre 15, to win reasonably comfortably. If you know, we all thought the first 20 or 30 and perhaps even 40 minutes might be quite tight, but Bath should stretch away. Isn't turning out like that at this stage, so it is really interesting to see how, yes, the two fly halves, but actually the two teams, the two sets of half-backs, two skippers actually manage their teams here, because yes, Bath have got a hole to dig themselves out of. How are they going to do that? How are they going to play and respond? But also Zebre won't have been expecting this in their wildest dreams. Will they panic? You know, will they get too excited? Will they start trying to see the game out too early and leave themselves open? It's a counter-up from Fischetti. Causing a bit of trouble. Gives Anthony Watson a bit of a knock there, I think.
22.
I beg your pardon, David. I was going to say that
Time is on.
over the years, Bath have built up a fair degree of credit in European competition against Italian sides in particular. 10 wins out of 10 over their European history, winning those matches by not far short of an average of 50 points.
10, please, we go.
Well, it's going to be 71-21 today then, going by that. Good second half coming up.
Here's De Julia, the fullback.
Knock on.
Well, the ball being knocked forward by Bath. That was all rather untidy, not just from Bath, but Zebre as well.
Just as Zebre find themselves with a put into a scrum, 5 yards to the touchline, there's not much of a blind side to work with. You wouldn't have thought Bath would have that covered, so it's just interesting to see what Zebre do here in terms of attack. The forward pack will stand up, 1 or 2 might remain, but it's often a foot race to get to the far side for at least half of that forward pack post-scrummage. Because there aren't that many options in attack from a position like this. It can often be an easy place from which to defend because you don't have to split your thinking. You don't have to hedge your bets. You can just steam off the line, try and cut progress. Cut down space.
That's Maxime Mbandi, you can see packing down on the flank on this side of the scrum for Zebre.
One, hinging.
Or you could just win a penno at the scrum. A penno against Benno.
Hinging at the set.
Kick yourself some metres, get yourself in a nicer spot. So it's Benno Barno on the far side. And you're guessing from this side, it won't be the ref that made that call, it'll be his assistant referee. I think it's Andrea Piardi who will have made that call against Benno Urbano for hinging at the waist.
The same for you. For the
We've mentioned already how close, in terms of players who are available, how close to full strength this Bath side is today. Well, Zebre do have 1 or 2 key players missing, the likes of Johan Meyer, who had such a good Six Nations for a weak Italian side. Also, Mattia Bellini, who is a truly international class wing. Both of those players play their club rugby for Zebre, but neither involved today. There goes David Sisi. That time it was Liavasa. That's Giamaroli again. You'll always spot him there with those lime green stroke yellow boots. On Banda that time.
Off feet.
And looks to me like Luca Bigi, the Italy captain, who's just gone flying and off his feet that time.
In one sense, pretty unsophisticated attack, just pick and go really from Zebre. In I guess in terms of asking questions, in thinking time, it's easy for Bath to respond, but still really good physicality, really good efforts from both props, the heaviest guys on the field, getting off the deck, getting far side, putting powerful hits in at close quarters, earning this opportunity, rocking ball carriers back. Really good energy from Bath, good speed off the ground for the bigger men. That's Will Stewart, but a hit earlier, it was Benno Urbano. You see Urbano straight off the deck to the far side, ready to go again. That's the important stuff, that's the unseen stuff.
Actually, I think it was Ian Nagel who in the end was penalised there for Zebre. Ian Nagel, who played for all but one of the major Irish provinces, Munster, Leinster and Ulster. Impressive catch there from D'Onofrio, all right under a high ball, not so good in the sight of Fokanasinger. Fokanasinger there making the tackle.
With the foot, play on. Stay, wait.
Cano with a big hoof forward. Here's Anthony Watson. Tremendous run, we saw that a few times, of course, during the Six Nations. There's Ben Spencer feeding the ball on, the little grubber through. There is Spencer. Oh, and look at that. Outstanding stuff to Max Clark. Well, in what has been an opening 36 minutes, which has been pretty miserable, frankly, for Bath, we saw there just a little bit of rugby genius.
That was superb, and that's the first time Watson's fielded one of those longer kicks from Zebre, and you thought that chase isn't up to much. He's made a few yards, he's cut a hole in them, he's made defenders rock back on their heels, but that from Spencer, absolutely beautiful. For Thokinasinger, that's just a run-in.
Chemo.
Pretty standard offload from Max Clark. You'll make those all day.
Let's try. I'm not sure if number 9.
I think they are just checking whether Ben Spencer was ahead of the kicker there.
Black.
Yeah, and we have to check too if the ball is touched by pink, because if the ball is touched by pink, it's play on.
Well, I think that is perhaps the factor there, because the grubber may well have caught a zebra boot.
Okay, we check.
So look at the two things here. The position of Ben Spencer.
It does catch a zebra boot. Does that a brute and a brute's boot? Does that put Spencer onside? So he's in front of Thokinasinger here when he kicks it offside. But it catches a zebra boot, but it definitely offside at the point of the kick. But does the fact that it catches zebra boot put him onside?
Now the best angle.
Okay.
We don't need another angle. It either puts him onside or it doesn't.
But
Miles in front of Thokinasinger.
we have to check if number 9 start to run before the ball is touched, because the 9 have to stop before the ball was touched.
They're now focusing on that point. Did Ben Spencer move in that split second between the ball being kicked and catching the zebra boot?
Yeah, he was advancing at that point. This isn't the angle we need. We need the side angle again. The first angle we saw. I'll tell you all you need to know.
Wide angle is coming, Pierre.
Yeah, I want to
Wide angle is coming here. So Thokinasinger, watch Spencer. He's offside there. Never stops moving.
Okay, okay. Could you come back?
Yes, we come back. On va revenir sur le premier angle.
Well, that's no use to us because Ben Spencer isn't even on that picture.
This is the only angle you need. So he's offside in between this ball, leaving Thokinasinger's boot and hitting a zebra boot. Spencer is offside and advancing.
It's number 9, start to run before the ball is touched by pink.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely offside at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, you have to stop first and after to run if you want to be onside.
Absolutely, never stopped.
So no try, penalty.
Perfect for me.
Captain.
So the actions of Ben Spencer are going to rule that out.
Kick
Let's
is
listen
touched
in.
by pink. But number 9 start to run before the ball is touched. He was offside. He start to run after the ball is touched. It's why he cannot be onside. It's a penalty for offside.
Yes.
No try.
But it doesn't deny the fact there was just a glorious touch by Ben Spencer, even if, in retrospect, he's now the man who his actions ruled out the try, and I think he's probably realising that.
Well, let's ignore the fact that he wouldn't have been in position to pull off that little piece of rugby magic had he been onside and had he stopped and all that when he was meant to. He still did it. He still got there and did the magic thing. It just doesn't count towards any points, which is a real shame for the rugby fan, because it means it won't appear in any highlights reels, but it was a lovely bit of skill.
And again, and joking aside now, perhaps another telling moment which may be significant when we get to the end of 80 minutes.
But it's funny how we still, you know, a couple of minutes out from half-time, we still expect Bath to pull away in the second half. But actually Zebre have showed very few signs of going away, of losing of their ambition diluting.
Stay on the line, Black.
It's a hot day, but they look reasonably light on their feet. Been a couple of injury breaks. Just that Watson carry for me a couple of minutes ago made me think, are they starting to tire?
No straight? No, no straight. There is a black player who can contest, it's no straight.
Elliot Stute was devastated about something that hadn't happened, and I'm not sure what he thought the referee was blowing for, but he couldn't believe it.
Good binds and good angle, both, please.
I've seen more crooked throws than that not get blown. But I think when the competition's that tight and it's anything but straight, you've got to blow it. The fact that Faletau got up meant that it wasn't fair. If he stayed on the deck, well, doesn't matter so much for me. When there's competition, it's got to be fair competition.
Set! Stay up!
Good to see a bit of pedantry on the part of Monsieur Brousset.
Advantage.
Once again, Bath's superiority in the set piece showing. Here goes Anthony Watson. Spencer. Little chip over the top from Orlando Bailey. The referee was playing that penalty advantage.
Some brutal stuff from Will Stewart at scrum time. His opposite number, Danilo Fischetti, Italian international, really struggling. And it isn't so much a technical thing as it's just a huge strong man against a smaller strong man, and Will Stewart is really crumpling him up. All sorts of horrible shapes. I know it's not half-time yet, but I'll be thinking very seriously about getting Fischetti off and getting Andrea Lavotti on, another Italian international. But Will Stewart ain't going to get any smaller in the next 20 minutes. He ain't going to get any weaker or less aggressive. So get someone on there and hope they can deal with him, because at the moment their man can't.
And that was a fantastic kick, which with Bath back to the full complement of 15 with a little more than a minute to go. Gives them a chance to strike back before the half-time whistle goes. Jack Walker goes to the tail. All good so far for Bath. There's Jack Walker with a shaven head. Will Stewart just sticking his right arm in there.
I thought Zebre did brilliantly at the back there to get that to deck. The second it landed, rip that to deck. That's actually really good technical line-out defence. Bath can't get a march on. They can still score and make yards because they've got a load of massive units who are good at pick and go.
Advantage, not ruling, free.
It was good initial defence.
Number 3, not ruling.
It's another advantage being played. So the security of the free hit, the ball being presented there by Beno Urbano. Clock running down towards 40, but they will have a chance of a penalty, and then the ball is knocked forward by Max Agermo. However, we will have the penalty.
Number 3, not ruling.
Giasui Zalocchi, the penalised player.
I'll tell you what, you'd have to be thinking scrum here, but you know what's more fashionable these days seems to be the pick and go, less of a lottery.
Jack Walker tries to catch the Italians napping. Zalocchi living on the edge there for the Italians. There's Bono Urbano. A metre to go for Bath. Crucial point in the match. They're up and over the line. They get the try. Bath's deficit at half-time will be more than manageable. And it is that man, Will Stewart, the tight head, who goes over.
Well, he's performing his primary roles very well, Will Stewart. Scrummaging's excellent, dominant, winning penalties, gaining Bath territory. When the pick and go comes, he's looking the strongest of the Bath players at the moment. The first pick and go from the Jack Walker tap penalty was Will Stewart. Made a good hard metre or two. Just seems about right that he's scoring the try. He's a big man, but there's a lot of explosive power in there, and Zebre are finding him hard to deal with.
I can understand you can be agree all the time with my decision, okay? But I'm very close for me to clear try. If I have something wrong, the team will come in to change on.
Can I ask you? Okay, I will ask Wesley, okay?
Okay.
Okay, my bad.
Thank you. Time back on.
Ben Spencer adds the 2 points. It's half-time in northern Italy. Bath on the rack for much of that first half, but that try there from Will Stewart has narrowed the deficit. Half-time score in the opening match of a very busy weekend. It's Zebre 21, Bath 14. Thanks a lot, Craig. Well, first things first, we did say in the first half that Bath's record against Italian franchises in Europe was 10 wins out of 10. There was actually an 11th in which an Italian franchise beat Bath. That was in the old Heineken Cup in 2004 when Treviso beat Bath by 29 points to 23. I noticed, Flat, so you had a bit of a twinkle in your eye when I mentioned that number, because obviously you do remember the match when Gonzalo Canali, remember him, played a lot of games for Clermont-Auvergne, and Marius Huersen, you often see bringing on the sponges for Italy in Six Nations matches. They scored the tries that sunk Bath on that occasion. I suppose the most pertinent statistic is that half-time score of 21 points to 14. What do you think Zebre have got to do if they are to inflict a second Italian defeat in European competition.
Well, scoring
on the
quick.
Premiership side here.
Sorry, Mike. Scoring quick wouldn't hurt, would it? From a Zebre point of view, but also I think you have to match Bath up front. They're just starting to turn the screw in the tight. That gives them all sorts of things. It gives them front foot ball. It gives them defenders on heels. It gives them penalties for points and territory. If you can't match them, even on a hot day like this where the ball isn't too slippery and there's not too many handling errors, if you can't match them, you're just going to concede, you know, a couple of key penalties too many, and you're going to struggle. But I think, if anything, Zebre want to take it up a notch. They want to play with real ambition and try and catch Bath cold in the first couple of minutes. And it starts here with the aforementioned fundamentals. You've got to get your set piece right, or you're just gifting ball to the opposition.
So Luca Bigi finds his jumper in the line out. Can they get the exit right? So far, so good for the Italians. Well, to that point, Bath will enjoy this set piece. Josh Bayliss it is who emerges with the ball.
Really, really good defence. It looks like Beno Urbano's offside. It's not. He's not. He joined. He bounded an onside position, worked his way around. Or the way things went, he ended up round there. He never released and rejoined in an offside position. So he's a big lump to get legally in the way. Josh Bayliss, as ever, working extremely hard on the inside. And that's turned from a line-out that Zebre had to win to relieve a bit of pressure to a Bath attacking scrum in a great position with enough of a blind side that Zebre have to take it seriously in defensive terms. But loads of room to attack. This is classic Wednesday morning launch play territory. They'll have practiced this a lot.
If you are just joining us, Josh Bayliss having replaced Sam Underhill during the first half. There it is for Ben Spencer, waiting there. Clark was on the decoy, coming off the wing. There is Rocker Dunguni. Here's Spencer on there to Elliot Stook. You can see Bonnie having to get himself away. Talupi Falatau just popping up the ball there to Will Stewart. Try score in the first half. Here's Max Clark. Bath picking up from where they left off right at the end of the first half here, having trailed by 14 points. Can Bath get themselves back level in the opening minutes of the second half? That Italian try line under siege. That time it's Reed. Josh Bayliss just leaving the ball for another one of the big fellas, and here's the power, and they're over the line, and they look as if they grounded it. I'm not sure Pierre Brousset was in necessarily the best spot to see it, but this will be passed on, I have no doubt, to the television match official, and it could be another one for Will Stewart.
I think he's saying held up. I was just, as Will Stewart got to that breakdown, it looked like he was going to pick it up and then had to effectively stand over the ball to protect it, and I thought that's not what Bath want. They want their most effective pick and goer, which is Will Stewart today, getting hold of that, and when he did, they couldn't quite deal with his power. We're going to have a look at it.
For
listen to you.
For me, on-field decision.
Well, it did seem a little premature to be saying that he'd held that up. One suspects that Monsieur Brousset has received a quiet word in his right ear.
Well, it's a try, isn't it? It's a clear try.
This is the only angle.
Ref's made a mistake, but he'll get away with it because his mate spotted it on telly in the truck in the car park.
We look another time with this angle.
Urbano and Bayliss help Stewart, but Stewart's got the sort of power that today Zebre are struggling to deal with. You can see the ball there. Gets to deck, throws the Julio off with his right arm.
Okay, decision. I have a decision for you, Pierre.
Okay, Rick.
You can stick with your on-field decision.
Oh.
There is a hand of pink player.
The hand underneath that is Will Stewart's, the first hand.
The ball and the ground.
Pierre Bruno's hand is also underneath it, but only after Will Stewart's hand has hit the floor. Can you hold yourself up?
Because there is a hand
The ball is held up, absolutely.
Ball held up, hands between the ground and the ball.
Yes.
I think the primary hand between, the first hand between the ground and the ball is Will Stewart's, and I'm not sure you can hold yourself up over the line.
Pierre Brousseau has just performed 2 about 120-metre shuttle runs to go from diagonally from one corner of the pitch here to the other at the Sergio Lanfranchi Stadium.
I mean, you can argue that if it's your hand under the ball doesn't touch the ground, the ball doesn't make contact with the grass. So I understand that. I'm not sure I like it.
The last time, both change the bind. You have to, it's the same for you, please.
I'm surprised at that. I'm here to be shot down, and I'm sure I'll get a text from Luke Pearce or Wayne Barnes afterwards saying, why don't you know the laws? For me, Zebre have got away with one there. Will Stewart steamed over, got the ball down. The only thing between the ball and the grass was his own hand.
Touch!
There we are.
Sorry.
I'm sure we'll try and make amends now.
Bang! Set! Stay up here.
So perhaps Zebre got away with one there.
Stay bang, bang, bang.
And there, clear penalty to Bath, collapsing the scrum on the tight head.
The pick up there from Falatau. They're up to the try line. Just a metre or so to go. It's Will Stewart again. Not quite a carbon copy. And this time, Monsieur Brousseau is very swift to blow the whistle and raise the arm. So the try, which perhaps they scored a couple of moments ago, has certainly counted this time.
Well, if it ain't one prop, it's the other. Zebre struggling with these two a little bit at the moment. Liavasa goes low. There's no arms whatsoever in that tackle, and not particularly effective either, because his head's effectively down, pointing towards the floor. You can see there, he can't really see what he's doing. He wants to go low, but not really having much of an effect. He's not grabbing onto anyone, so they can effectively ride his contact, skate past him and score.
To the both players.
Good from Beno Urbano. Good close range stuff. You feel like, as Steve Diamond said, you feel like Bath will have enough to stretch away now. But we thought that in the first half, didn't we?
It's the same as the last time.
A nice way to celebrate your 100th appearance for Bath. The try which allows Ben Spencer to tie the scores.
Pierre Bruno, number 14, absolutely no interest in sticking his head in there. Another winger that loves to attack and score tries, doesn't particularly like to tackle people who want to do the same.
Yeah, scored 3 of them now.
Still got to make your tackles, haven't you? It's his job.
There goes Jet Walker.
Use the 9. 9 we go.
Here's Spencer.
Oh,
and that time, De Julio's looked pretty solid under the high ball until that point. Didn't really get himself into the right position for that one.
We saw one of those from him in the first half, didn't we? Just a little bit unsteady. There wasn't a huge amount of pressure. Had he caught the ball, he would have been clattered, but it wouldn't have been man and ball. He had a bit of time. Just wonder if he's thinking a little bit too much about the advancing kick chase defenders. Not quite enough about the ball.
You have to keep a good bind with a good picture for us. Okay. It's your job. Okay. It's fine. You have to change both, or I will deal with it. Okay, don't worry. Scrum like.
Eduardo Bello, the replacement tight head, getting a little bit of a talking to.
Well, he's been the last couple of times he bored in on a horrendous angle on the first scrum and then dived effectively straight to the floor on the second. Could probably and should probably have been penalised both times, but wasn't. All Beno Urbano will want is for this fellow Eduardo Bello to just stay square on him, take him on for strength. And now the ref's around there, he pretty much has to, and this is what happens. That's what happens.
Well, overwhelming power from Bath. They get the penalty.
Well, if he can't go down to the deck and he can't go in towards the hooker and Boré on an angle, he has to stay straight and take on his opposite number for strength, as Eduardo Bello. And as soon as he does that, when the ref's there and he can't cheat and he's keeping an eye on him from close range, has to keep it legal and clean, gets shoved backwards, which is exactly why he cheated in the first couple. He knew what was coming.
Something that might have caught your attention at home, the mixture of socks being worn. Almost old barbarian style, isn't it, by the Zebre players. They are socks from the clubs within the Zebre franchises area. This really is the beating heart of Italian rugby.
Advantage.
That ball straight over the top. There's Canna. Here's Boni. Like Beno Urbano, playing his 100th game for his franchise. The try scorer there, Bruno, being spun around. Here's Canna again. On there to David Sisi.
1-for-1.
Canna. Carry from Lukin. You are just tuning in. Very warm day in northern Italy, 25 degrees. Temperature due to drop quite significantly tomorrow. But it's almost like summer rugby.
Bath were beaten there at the breakdown by Marcello Violi. Fortunately for Bath, he fell over just after his half break. Otherwise, they were in a bit of trouble.
Violi hoists it.
Backwards, back, pink.
Ball palmed back by Zebre. Here's Canna. Looks up. Tries to find a vacant spot of green grass. Really, it's a superb surface, recently laid at this stadium. As Violi just popping the ball back. That was to Giamarioli, who I know impressed you, David, in the first half.
There was a lot of similarity between him and Sam Simmons, isn't there? Really explosive. Hard to shift at the breakdown. The low centre of gravity. Looks a really good ball carrier. It's a hell of a kick from Anthony Watson, that.
That was almost Bryson DeChambeau-like, wasn't it?
Time off. Time off.
2/3 of the length of the pitch.
3-2.
That's Marcello Violi.
Number 2.
Preparing to come on. Olivero Fabiani.
No, please.
Oh, he is on
Number 2
already there, isn't he, on the right?
Thank you.
Just coming on is Andrea Lavotti. Both of those players having played more than 100 times
Number 9.
for Zebre. Fabiani, the most experienced of all. Off goes the Italy captain.
Okay.
So Luca Bici being replaced. Pierre Bruno, the hat-trick hero, getting some treatment.
Black, open gap, open gap. Thank you.
There's also the alteration that's been made at scrum half with Josh Renton, the New Zealander, coming on. There is Fabiani making his 129th appearance for Zebre.
Black, advantage, pulling
There's
down.
Renton. Well, you saw him rehearsing his box kick a couple of moments ago. They get the penalty to Zebre.
Okay.
Well, I was
Black, collapsing, pulling down.
see, Marty, often these things get on a march. These mauls get on a march, and as soon as it collapses, the defending team that's moving backwards is kind of semi-automatically penalised. But actually, I think it looked to me like Zebre players hitting the deck there. It can be quite hard to keep your feet as you're moving forward because there's feet stamping on feet everywhere and knees and all sorts in the way and bodies in the way. I think Bath were losing ground. They're painting not a great picture to the referees. They're always likely to get penalised, but
Yes.
I think perhaps there Zebre may just have fallen over, which happens.
Come on, please.
I reckon the fuel warning light might have come on there, up in the Zebre training or management box. Getting some new fuel and energy and new bodies out there. They hope will get the engine firing again. Oh, that's not terribly straight from Mr. Fabiani.
But also Fabiani's what you probably call a middle-of-the-road line-out thrower. So why give him such a hard throw? Why give him a double, triple movement to the back? It's a triple movement to the back. The timing's got to be bang on. It's the hardest throw. Faletau's been getting up there all day, causing problems. He's so good in the air, Faletau, because he plays like a very big man, but he's not a giant, so he's...
There is too much.
He's easy to get off the deck. Give the guy an easier throw. And they brought on Fabiani and Lavotti for Fischetti and Bigi in the front row, but really, it's the replacement tight head that's scrummaging most of all. And there's only so much a loose head and a hooker can do if their tight head's struggling. It can help, but perhaps not enough.
He said he's middle of the road line out throw. That landed, I think, in the central reservation.
He's thrown it straight to his scrum half.
21 points apiece. Bit of a minor classic, I think, to start you off on this.
It's okay in this side.
I think it would be fair to describe as a unique European weekend. I know we're down to 15 fixtures rather than 16 because of the unfortunate abandonment of the game that was due to happen in Dublin between Leinster and Toulon. But still, sleep deprivation will be the problem this weekend rather than the shortage of potential rugby viewing. It goes all the way until long after tea time on Sunday.
No stability both sides.
See there, you've got a Bath front row that's keen to pile in. On the S of set, the B of bang. And you've got Zebre who aren't quite ready. And not as aggressive. They kind of accept the hit. Let Bath advance and hope that Bath are going to get pinged for an early drive, which does happen, but I think that's actually good refereeing because Bath are out a bit too quick. Zebre conceded a bit too quick.
Crouch. Back. Set. Captain.
I think we're going to have a little bit of an interrogation this time.
As you see, there is a problem at the scrum. Okay. I think it's time to speak to your players. And the discipline must improve. If they cannot change, I will deal with it. Okay? Now it's time to speak. So.
They've made replacements. No. Things have changed. Okay?
Yeah. We need to improve. We need to improve stability before and angle and bang.
I'm not quite sure what Tommaso Boni is going to tell his front five from outside centre, but Josh McNally's saying is, look, it's falling over. They've made all the replacements, we haven't, and this thing started falling over.
Keep him off the floor. Keep him off the floor.
You can hear Jack Walker there. He's saying, keep him off the floor, keep him off the floor. Really, he's not talking to his teammates there. He's talking to the referee. He's trying to subliminally work his way into the mind of the ref and say, we want to keep it up, we want to scrummage.
It's all a bit underhand, isn't it, David?
Lobbying, I think they call it.
Set. Stay up.
Subliminal lobbying.
Spencer getting caught there by Renton.
Over. Use it. 5.
Onto the captain, McNally.
Oh, move back.
Bath just outside their 22. I think we know where this one's going. One to chase for Thokuna Singer. One to catch, which he did by Pierre Bruno. Renton.
Out on the ball first.
That was David Ceci, wearing 4 on his back.
20's on side, 20's on side. Use it.
Having conceded 2 tries either side of half-time, it's quite admirable the way that Zebre have responded. Good chase there from Bruno. This contest very much alive, and let's be honest, We were perhaps expecting at the start of the afternoon for at this point Bath to be stretching their legs and heading towards the last 8.
Okay, 20.
The match is there to be won for either side. Picked up by the replacement scrum half, Renton. Here goes Kana.
Move back.
He's hotly in pursuit. Talupi Falatau took it against the backcloth of brilliant blue skies in northern Italy. Another big hoop there from Watson, but it may be too far. Oh, I say. Had a little bit of backspin, didn't it?
Bit chew on it. He's booting the thing a long way, isn't he? Cut the feet too far then, metre or so too far, but he's kicking it a long way. We're used to seeing that from Priestland. Got a massive
14.
boot on him, very useful for Bath.
14, substitution.
Watson
14.
2, it turns out.
So, change in the midfield.
Time on.
On comes, well, it's actually going to be on the wing, Federico Mori, who ended up playing or starting for Italy in the midfield against Scotland a couple of weeks ago in the Six Nations, replaces the try scorer Pier Bruno, who we saw looked like he'd damaged a fetlock. Look at this from the Italians, playing as they were in the opening minutes, and that's Giamarioli again.
Just exceptional carrying in no space, that.
The attempt there at the chip over the top from Renton, well anticipated by Bath, but they've still got it here of Zebre. Kana feeds the ball outside to Bonney, the captain, who's dispossessed. The ball has gone forward. Good work again from Josh Bayliss. He's really put himself about.
You could just see Tommaso Bonney was trying to get his hands through there and get the ball away. No space here. Excellent from Giamarioli, excellent power. Good footwork, and this option here from Josh Renton, it just felt like it was never the option, the kick over the top. There wasn't really anyone home for Bath, but there was no one chasing it either for Zebre, so that would have, I don't know what would have come of that, but you could see exactly what Bonney was trying to do to get his arm through, to get the Sonny Bill offload away. Zebre ain't going away, are they?
To give us a good picture of elbow up and don't try to pull them. If ever elbow down.
So Will Stewart has done an hour in the Italian sunshine.
That's a lot when you're 130 kilos plus. It's a long time. Played very, very well.
One England Test tight head replaces another. Henry Thomas, once of Sale, of course, replaces Will Stewart, once of Wasps.
Like I said to number 1, okay, it's the same for you guys. Okay. Number 18.
Oh, alterations. The cap looks rather similar, but Kana comes off and he's been replaced by Paolo Peschetto, another of those players who came from the Calvisano feeder club. There's the national coach looking on, Franco Smith. He was a decent flyer half and inside centre in his day. Played a handful of times for the Springboks. Fly half for a number of years at the Blue Bulls, the old Northern Transvaal. Their most famous fly half, a certain Nas Buerta, Ignatius, one of the greats.
Another tenuous link from Martin Gilliam. It's amazing what you find out.
What do you mean tenuous?
Well, not tenuous, long-winded, but very interesting.
It is tenuous, it is tenuous. I shall
Very
plead guilty. Mea culpa, mea culpa.
18.
Well, this is going to be expensive.
Okay, I have 18 to 18. Yeah.
The card is being shown
Free infringement
to Eduardo Bello,
and
they're going to have to bring Giosui Zalocchi back on if he's fit to do so.
But he can't wait to get back on. He was struggling when there were eight men in the pack. It's always a funny one, isn't it? You're sin-binning front row forwards because their scrum is struggling and going backwards and they're collapsing under pressure and folding. I'm not sure what he did wrong there, Eduardo Bello. As far as I'm aware, getting smashed to bits in a scrum is not illegal. He hasn't dived on the floor, he hasn't balled in, he's just been crumpled up like a deck chair. And now his scrum's even weaker. So I always think those yellow cards defeat the purpose, but they've got to do something with them.
I suppose he can just as easily say it's the 5 blokes behind me you should be blaming rather than me.
Oh, he absolutely will, yeah, quite right.
Spencer pops it up. Here's Falatau carrying it inside the Zebre 22. Orlando Bailey. It's a cracking name, Orlando Bailey, isn't it?
You have to play the ball.
A cracking opportunity here for Bath. Space and men as well. Carried forward there by Elliot Stook. Picked up by Josh Bayliss. Tommaso Boni, the captain, takes a bit of a ride. There's Spencer. The captain, McNally. Just being upended there by Liavasa. That was Bailey feeding the ball out. This is tremendous from Bath. Watson inside. Oh, the pass just goes loose. It was maybe about 8 inches short of being a try to take Bath in front for the first time.
So nearly, sorry Martin, that was so nearly so pretty, wasn't it? Seeing Anthony Watson in that outside channel at full chat, it's a beautiful sight. But that offload on the inside didn't quite have the lead on it.
Renton not quite finding touch. 1 or 2 alarm bells ringing really now for Zebre for the first time this afternoon. They're down a man. It is the opportunity that Bath, well, they've had to be patient. There's the offload from Thokana Singer, and through goes Orlando Bailey, and it's Bailey out to Watson. Well, whether he's wearing a white shirt, a blue shirt, or the alternate jersey of Bath, he just can't stop scoring, this fella.
Bit of space like that, you won't stop him, but Orlando Bailey does really, really nicely. Gets the ball when in a position in which he probably doesn't quite expect it. There's a lot of space there. He's got the confidence to rip through. It's a relatively simple 2-on-1, but he's a young fella. You've seen people mess those up. You've seen people get nervous. Young players get nervous, but nicely executed. Good awareness from Bailey. Had Spencer on the inside as well. And as soon as Watson takes that cleanly, game over. Again, it'd be interesting to watch how Zebre respond, actually, and how Bath kick on for the last quarter of this game. As a neutral, you kind of hope that Zebre aren't spent, that they have another crack at it. It's a pretty kick.
Well, it's 3 converted tries without a response now from Bath.
Okay, time off. Back on. Come on there.
So Andrea Lavotti is on. Benno Urbano celebrates his 100th appearance for Bath by being offered the early bath. Here's Renton. Well, this is the response you're getting, and it was almost fed straight into the bread basket of Samiso Rokundunguni, but they get another crack here. This is Donofrio. Referee playing a knock-on advantage here for the home side.
I reckon if Rokundunguni has 10 more goes at catching that, he catches it 12 times.
We come back to advantage.
Elliot Stoop, very unhappy with himself, cursing himself. He got up nicely for that restart, for the receipt, but just let the ball bounce off his chest for the turnover. And Rokundunguni, well, at first sight,
11 black.
Seemed like a catchable one to me, that.
11 pink, okay. Time back on.
So there is Donofrio. He's being sacrificed.
Good picture, guys.
So that Zebre can have a specialist front row forward, and they've got the Italy international, Giasui Zalocchi, who has returned from the sidelines.
Crouch.
There he is.
Nine. Set. Stay up, both.
15 minutes ago in a match that's had a little bit of everything. That was Lukin.
Leave the ball.
Despite the appeals and protests from the Bath players, the referee allows play to continue.
Really good refereeing that. Miles Reid got in a great position, but the referee let him scrap it out for an extra second, and he didn't turn the ball over, so he wasn't given a penalty for just being in the right place. He didn't win the ball, so he didn't get the pen.
That is Mori. Mori's still just 20, star of the Italy under-20 side last season. Nice confirmation of that change. A lovely little inside ball there from Renton. This is good from Zebre. Well, that was just one offload too many, but they were, I think we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They were aware of perhaps the advantage that was being played. Am I being too generous, David?
For me, it was fine because they don't play on the same way.
Cracking line, that. Really like that from Rico Lukin. See, Miles Reid does really, really well. He's on that ball, but the ref lets him fight for it. Too often, I think, Jackalers are just given the penalty because what they're doing looks right. He's in a good position, he's got his hands on the ball, but he doesn't actually nick it. He ends up getting cleared off. I like it when the refs actually allow a bit of a fight.
Post. Number 2, high tackle.
I'm sure Bath fans don't like it as much. But they would do were the jersey colours reversed.
So another change. This is Leonard Krumov.
Please, number 2.
And he replaces the Irishman Ian Nagel.
On the line. Yeah.
So Paolo Peschetto,
Wait, please.
who's got some decent percentages of the kicking tee this season in the early 80s, which marks him as a marksman of class. Pragmatism
Number 2 is coming.
takes them within 4.
They're within 4. They're not spending that much time in the Bath third. I still sort of feel they still have to score a try. Another penalty's not going to do it. There's only 13 minutes left. You sort of think, well, I get the build a score thing, but there ain't long left. I suppose they're a man down, so they want to take a bit of time out the game.
So I say pragmatism, you say wrong call.
Well, don't know yet, do we?
You can say yes.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. I know I can, I'm just not sure I'm right.
Use it.
A debut for Jacques Dutoit, the former Free State cheater.
Stay in. Use it, 9.
That was touched in flight, the kick from Josh Renton. There he is, the former Highlander, man from the South Island, from Dunedin.
Okay, time off. Seven is coming.
Maximum Banda is going off.
Time back on. Time back on. Open the gap.
So Jacopo Bianchi.
Please, come closer.
Well, I said it was touched in flight. Perhaps Andrea Piardi had a better view than I. That was Max Clark.
Just using the centres on that first phase. Orlando Bailey's still out the back. Now he gets the ball. It's not the ball he wanted, but he doesn't touch the ball on first phase, gets it out the back on second phase, but it's a rubbish pass, actually, that is given him, so you've got to feel for the young bloke. Nice attacking position. The ball gets chucked a yard behind him.
Enrico Lukin just getting hold of enough of him. He's a bit of a grafter, this fella, isn't he?
Yeah, it's got to look on the face of him to see he's made a few hits and carried a bit of ball up. Just did enough then. Hard-working bloke.
Same over last scrum, guys. Better.
You could be forgiven for thinking that Bath are almost hiding Orlando Bailey on that first phase. They're not. They're waiting for him as, you know, as the 10, as theoretically the best attacking player, best creative player, passer of ball in hand, scrum half aside. Give him the ball in the best position. Give it to him second phase out the back with a bit of space to play with, but it didn't come off that time. The pass wasn't good enough.
There goes Giamarioli again. Look at that carry off the back. Very Sam Simmons-like. It's there for Renton. That was on to Leah Vasa. Giamarioli, the pincer defence. Josh Bayliss was one of them, and then there's, well, the referee
6.
has awarded a penalty.
No binding as scrum.
I don't want to start discussing players' contractual futures, but and I'm sure he's very happy. But Renato Giamarioli, wouldn't he look great in the Prem? What a player on the ball. Really explosive, super hard to handle. Like the look of him a lot.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Conor O'Shea liked the look of him when he was the Italy national coach, gave him his first caps, but he hasn't been seen for quite a while. He started against England in the 2018 Six Nations, if you can remember that back, but he's only won 4 caps.
Okay.
But he's got a bit of something.
Good, like him.
Face up! Face up!
Straight as a die from Pesqueta.
So having said it was the wrong call to take 3 points a couple of minutes ago, Martin, I think you were wrong. I think it was the right call.
I'm just, there's so many negatives there, I'm battling with them. I'm sure it was a double or a triple negative.
That's why I never made any decisions on the rugby field.
So what a way to start a busy weekend in Europe. A single point. We've got 8.5 minutes to go. The winner of this plays London Irish, or the winner of London Irish and Cardiff Blues. That's up at 5:15 on 3HD. 15 matches live this weekend on BT Sport. Gloucester La Rochelle tonight at 7:45 on 3HD and on Ultimate. Montpellier Glasgow as well, 7:45. That's on ESPN HD. What a cracking weekend it is.
Inside, tackle inside.
That ain't the quarter of it.
Use it!
The sun's out. It's just a shame you can't leave the house, isn't it? Too much rugby on, getting nothing done. Give into it.
Renton hoists it.
So knock-on advantage.
Not forward there by Rokodunguni.
Okay. Knock-on.
Got up well, Rokodunguni, but it just looked like on the way up,
When you was out,
D'Onofrio actually got enough of an arm on him as he took off to just knock him off his stride a little bit, knock him out of shape a little bit in mid-air.
We do want to pitch this right, David, because Zebre trail by a single point. We have got 7 minutes to go, but there is a possibility of one of the great European shocks here.
One of the great European shocks, absolutely there is. For 73 and a bit minutes, we've assumed that Bath are going to win this at a canter. Not so. They're definitely not going to win it. They might win it. They're definitely not going to win it at a canter. They've been unable to suppress Zebre for any period of time. The scrums look dangerous. The pick and goers look dangerous. Otherwise, it has to be said, Zebre have dealt with Bath very, very nicely indeed.
Set.
And despite sitting in 8th spot in the Gallagher Premiership, this is a Bath side in some pretty useful form at the moment. They've won 5 of their last 7, including a match I was at when they went up to the AJ Bell and put a very good Sale side away. Yet this is a Zebre side who won just 4 times in the Pro 14 this last season, which came to a conclusion last weekend, and 2 of those wins were against their fellow Italian side Benetton. The other 2 wins against the Ospreys here and against the Dragons.
Set.
It's probably fair to say that they are the better of the 2 Italian franchises, but in terms of expectations in Europe, the bar is hung very low indeed.
This is an interesting, well, it depends on perspective, I suppose. Interesting little mini situation, mini dynamic occurring on this side of the scrum where the referee, Pierre Brousset, is standing. It's always a fine balance between is one guy pushing too early, is one guy caving in, trying to get the other guy penalised for pushing too early. I think Bath might have got away with one there. That felt a bit early to me on the drive. But we go again. And Eduardo Bello on the defensive, on the tight head, just got to hold his own.
Renton. That was on to Pescetto. Bonney. A little bit of space here, but the supporting runner had rather overrun it. And then in the end, Singer knocked it forward.
You felt from the minute, I think it was Bonney that went for the, was it Bonney that went for the offload on the outside there? You felt as soon as he took those extra couple of steps towards Max Clark, you felt like as soon as he's not going to pass this until he makes contact with Max Clark, it's going to be too late. It's exactly what happened. Well defended in the outside channel by Clark. But really, someone needed to hold a defender there, or Bonney needed to give that ball earlier.
Yes, in the end, Mori had rather overrun him, hadn't he?
He had, and really, if the pass had gone to hand, it was just going to a player running effectively the same line in the same space. Max Clark was out of the equation, but Singer was there to make the tackle, not really asking enough of the defence. There's Zebre, and that's a soft bit of first phase play, really.
We stay.
Michael Bradley, former Ireland international, former Ireland captain as well, has been under the radar for quite a while, but he's done rather well with the sides he's worked with. Took Edinburgh to a Heineken Cup semi-final. That was in the middle of long stints at Connacht, who, of course, particularly in those years, were very much the poorer brother of the Irish franchises.
As Will Spencer's made it onto the field in the red hat. Watched a lot of games, been injured a bit.
Crouch.
You wouldn't have thought, with him in the second row, you wouldn't have thought Bath had struggled too much. An exceedingly strong human being.
I think he's come back to Bath a better player than he left them in the first instance as well, hasn't he? Penalty to Bath.
Yeah, maybe you're right. The first 18 crank.
It's not bad when you can bring another
Short and crank.
international off the bench. Is it Jamie Batty, who appeared in a couple of games for Scotland in the Six Nations?
He's done well there. You smelt a bit of blood and gone for Eduardo Bello. And it just goes to show, even now, the game hasn't changed that much. One of the reasons top tight heads are very well looked after in a professional rugby environment is because without one, this happens. He starts to cave, he folds in, clearly folds in, absolutely the right call from the referee to give Bath the penalty, and suddenly the pressure's on Zebre. Bath have got territory. A bit further in field, it might have been 3 points.
Bath lead by a single point. 3 minutes to go.
18.
Can the former champions close this out? Use all their experience. Be efficient. The arm is out from the referee, so they have the advantage.
Okay, fine. All good.
Oh, I say, Laviero Fabiani there, just getting a little bit hot under his Italian collar.
All fine. All fine. I was close. It's fine. Calm down.
Very upset.
Advantage, collapsing, tackles man of the ball.
Didn't quite work that, did it? The little switch back under between Orlando Bailey and Max Ajomo. Didn't matter because they had the advantage anyway. Left themselves wide open.
Line.
Well, Bath looking to finish off with a bit of a flourish to finish off the Italian challenge. So Jacques de Toy. What's the call? Goes to Elliot Stook.
Number 4, don't change.
Jacques de Toy has got it in his paws. The Italians trying to force him out of play, but Bath have got the sat-nav on and it's heading towards the try line. It's in there somewhere. Jacques Brousset has got the perfect view and it is a score. And Bath on their way to the last 8.
All five. 16, please.
Yep, seems appropriate that it's a bit of brute force, bit of power that does the job for Bath in the end. That's where they've looked most dangerous. It's been up front. The back line hasn't really fired today. I guess you remove a couple of key personnel, put a couple of really promising, genuinely talented youngsters in. Yes, it can be exciting. It can also affect your cohesion a little bit. It's done that a bit today for Bath, but the forward pack has been excellent. Henry Thomas left hanging by Joe Thokenasinger there, which is embarrassing for him, and hopefully someone finds that and makes a gif out of it. It looks like, is it Jacques Dutoit that goes in there, Martin?
Yes, it's a nice start to his Bath career, isn't it?
Lovely. Debut try, no doubt about that one. No reviews.
He'll feel at home in this weather. Even in the middle of winter, blistering hot days in Bloemfontein, which is where he's played his rugby until now.
Yeah.
And the kick is rather a good one as well. And we have our first quarter-finalists in the European Challenge Cup. But I tell you what, they had to dig deep, did Bath. They've come to Northern Italy. They've been tested. And for a lot of that game, they were very much acting almost reactionary to anything that Zebre did. There was a hat-trick early on from Pierre Bruno. But in the end, the power, the experience and the quality of Bath just got them over the try line, and victory in this first match of a very busy European weekend. Final score at the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi: Zebre 27, Bath 35.